It's something that always interested me. Like, why does lack of black violence exist in such capacity? Why do we kill each other so much more
That's what
than
that book
country?
explains.
Yeah, there has to be a reason for it because we separate the morals throughout history in this country, except for the Native Americans, us and Native Americans, and even they to this day are suffering. You know, like they are probably one of the race that has like the most junkies in this country, probably.
It's all by design.
Yeah.
Everything by design. Yeah, it takes generations of brainwashing, and torture. So they damn near killed off the indigenous man from this land. You don't just walk around seeing Indians everywhere. Like almost kill all of them. And the ones that are left, like you say, strung out on the white man drugs and liquor and everything else. They got the black mind is gone. Like as a collective group, we don't fucking think, you know. You know, when we do think, we just want to be like the white man. Because white people got everything, so you want to be like the white man. And so you gotta act like the white man. What the white man do? The white man oppress everybody. So that's why you oppress all the people around you. Trying to be just like them. But the people around you look just like you. So you wind up oppressing and killing your own people. Subconsciously trying to be a conqueror. And trying to be like the thing that you hate the most.
That's what this book goes into.
Mm-hmm. I put one of my favorite passages. I read this shit like the Bible. Right there. White American self-fulfilling prophecies and falsifications of the African personality. That paragraph right there just explained the Bible. What up, guys? That's what's up. About to be signing this painting shortly. This thing is basically done. It's basically done. Yo, thanks. studio. About to finish up this commission. This is a commission piece. I've been working on it for the past 3 weeks. It's getting to that point where, you know, a few brush strokes here and there. And I'm going to put my signature on this thing. The details is just superb, magnificent, tremendous even, spectacular, outstanding. What's some more really good words that mean good? It's double plus good. Really good.
It's platinum.
It's platinum. This is what you guys would refer to as being an excellent work of art. It's impeccable.
It's Thanos.
It's stupendous even. It's miraculous in one way. Very outstanding, I would have to say so myself. What we're trying to say is it's top notch. It's tremendous. It's terrific. What up, Clyde? Immaculate. It's impeccable. Is this going to be our vocabulary episode? How many words do you know that mean good? Motherfuckers pulling out a thesaurus. Gotta learn some synonyms. Perfect. We skipped that one? That's like, that should have been the first one. It's perfect. You guys are crazy. This boy is a damn nerd. I gotta work like around the bottom a little bit. I really want to chat and bust it up a lot, but I had a long day. I want to try to get like a good solid 45 minutes, an hour of painting in real quick, and see if I can get to that point where I can sign this thing. Oh yeah, that book taught me a lot. It took me a while before I actually painted it because I already know just the title alone is going to scare a lot of people away. They're going to be like, this guy's racist. Let's see what we're going to do with these colors.
Looking at portrait of you in the suit.
Huh?
Was this book in that portrait of you in the suit?
No.
This one.
No. Let's see if we can,
At Raymore and Flanagan, you'll get
Maddie.
321. What's up? What's up, guys? My paint's getting dry. Oh man, this might not work. I'll do it like that. What up, what up, what up? How is everyone doing? Going for the final touches. Hey, I am so good. I just dropped off some art this afternoon for my next show. Supposedly some out of towners might be around for it even. A couple cats from New York, somebody from New Jersey or whatever. It's like at a really small private gallery. So let's keep our fingers crossed on this turning out to be a good event. I even threw some older stuff in there and priced it at like a couple $100. See if I can snatch up a little sale real quick, because I'm not going through like an official gallery or nothing. So whatever I make is whatever I make. With them galleries, I gotta hike the price up, because the gallery be like, nigga, you gotta give me 30% of that. I know. We ain't help you paint it, but we help you display it. 30%, nigga. And then so for most of my art, I got gallery prices, and then I got my prices. My price is hella cheaper than the gallery prices, because I'm saving you 30% off. This painting is 30% off. Just for you, because I like you so much. And we're not in a gallery. So did that. Got that done. That's going to be Sunday. Sunday. And then, what else happened? Something good stuff I was just thinking about. Oh yeah, gonna have live music. I talked to my homie. He said he gonna come down and play some live music at my show. Word. It's gonna be Fleek. Or is it on Fleek? I don't know. I probably shouldn't even try to use that terminology. My bad. But you catch my drift. A little bit like that, right? And then what I'm gonna want to do is what I'm gonna do is manifest these dreams. So the gallery is in the same town I work in, but I couldn't pack my art and take it with me this morning because I had to do a food bank run for my job. So my truck was loaded down with all kind of stuff this morning for me to take to work. So I had to go to work, come home, pick up the art, go back over there. I was like, I went to New York yesterday, to my homie's wedding party, and I'm tired of driving. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just keep it real.
Right now, receive a $50 reward card when you test drive any new Hyundai sedan.
Right now, let me skip this commercial. Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I don't know. Everybody says that like their generation was the shit, but like the '90s was really like the shit though. Like if you were a teen in the '90s, you was you was good. We was good, bro. You know, no homosexuality on TV. None of this saggy, tight jeans. All of this uh, dabs and Molly and Percocets and all that, man. See, we was the drug dealers. Now these kids are the dope heads. Like, wait a minute. Y'all supposed to be selling the drugs, man, not doing the drugs. You supposed to be a dope pusher, not a dope doer. And I always thought like one day, like, man, motherfucker gonna stop smoking crack. Nope. Nope. He do what? He smoke dope. Motherfucker think this the 90s? I like the old head dope boys who still out there trying to hustle. Like, nigga, you're 42. What is you doing? Huh? Cut that shit out, man. You ain't gonna make $1 million in these streets. Some of us can get it. Some of us ain't gonna get it, man. Some of us gotta get a job. That way, if you got a job, at least you can still kind of hustle on the side if that's where your passion is at. You just want to always be a dope boy, even though you ain't Rick Ross in it and all this other stuff. Delusional. I ain't gonna work for the white man, but you gonna stay the night in his jail cell though. What's the difference? I don't see any. Oh man, this piece is winding down. I'm winding it down. Winding it down. Oh, I didn't paint yesterday. Like I said, I went to New York. So in just one day, like, most of the paints on my palette are dry. It's crazy, I'll tell you, it's crazy. I'm wasting paint over here. So, since we're all here, you know,
Anybody got any ideas on something interesting we can talk about? I've been on this whole God complex thing for a minute, man. I think I need a break from it. Nothing? Y'all ain't got nothing interesting to talk about? Y'all some bums. Get out of here, you bums. Mm. Andromeda. The Andromeda star system? I know, who wrote Jurassic Park? Michael Crichton? Didn't he write a book called Andromeda? They're trying to that's where Project Starshot or Project, what is it? I think it is Project Starshot or something like that. They're trying to get there, and like it's going to take 20 years to get the program up and off the ground, but after it's done, they say they can get there in 20 years. And the Egyptians think that's where we came from too.
Every day, visionaries are creating the future. So every day, we put our latest technology and unrivaled network.
But hey, bro, you know I like to listen to a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. Hey.
The Andromeda Galaxy is a spiral galaxy approximately 2.5 million light years from Earth. It is the nearest major galaxy to the Milky Way, and it gets its name from the area of the sky from which it appears, the constellation of Andromeda, which was named after the Greek mythological princess Andromeda. So next time you look up at the night sky and see the distant glimmer of the extragalactic stars, remember these 5 fascinating facts about the Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda can be seen with the unaided eye. which has meant that it has been known since the ancient times. On a clear night with little light pollution, it can be seen as a diffuse blur, with the central region clearly visible through a good pair of binoculars. Larger telescopes provide an even more impressive galaxy. Andromeda is the biggest galaxy by volume. It contains around twice the number of stars than our galaxy, the Milky Way, which has around 200 to 400 billion. Not only does it have a lot more stars than ours, Andromeda is enormous, with a diameter of around 220,000 light years across, which is nearly 1.5 times longer than the Milky Way. Because Andromeda is so visible on a clear night, astronomers have studied its history for decades. It is estimated to have been born 10 billion years ago out of the merger of many smaller proto-galaxies, and then, around 8 billion years ago, it collided with another galaxy to form the giant that we see today. Like our own galaxy, there's also a supermassive black hole at the centre of Andromeda, with 2 others possibly orbiting as a binary, with a mass of around 140 million times that of our Sun. Dozens of smaller black holes are believed to lie in the centre, and many others have been picked out by the Chandra X-ray Observatory. Our neighbouring galactic bully is on another collision course, but this time with us. Both the Milky Way and Andromeda are moving towards each other at a rate of 75 miles a second. When the collision has been completed, they will merge to form a giant elliptical galaxy. However, this is estimated to happen in around 3.75 billion years from now, so nobody has to panic just yet. I hope you enjoyed these 5 facts about our neighbouring galaxy Andromeda. Remember to like the video and subscribe for much more to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, the Andromeda Strand by Michael Crichton. I remember I read that book, yo. That's on the list, like when I looked up Andromeda.
Left in our solar system will witness the most spectacular event to take place in the history of the night sky, as the Andromeda Galaxy plows headlong into our own Milky Way. But will that be the very last night sky our solar system witnesses? See that fuzzy blob on the sky? The one just left of the Milky Way center in the constellation of Andromeda. That's M31, the Andromeda Galaxy. It's 2.5 million light years away and host to 1 trillion stars. It has a beautiful spiral structure spanning its gently rotating disk 220,000 light years in diameter, and a central bulge that hides a giant black hole that contains the mass of well over 100 million suns. Andromeda is also racing towards our galaxy at 110 kilometers per second. That faint blob will slowly grow to around half again its current size over the next 2 billion years. Then its growth will accelerate. At 3 billion years, it'll be 2.5 times bigger. At 3 3/4, it'll fill half the sky. At around 4 billion years from now, it'll crash through the Milky Way, and both galaxies will be utterly disrupted in the monumental collision. This much we know for sure. But what about the Sun, the solar system, the Earth? The Andromeda Galaxy was our first clue that there existed a universe outside the Milky Way. We've known about it forever. On the dark sky, it's visible to the naked eye as a faint smudge. But being so far away, you can't see individual stars in Andromeda without a good-sized scope. Because of this, there was originally no way to know whether Andromeda was a much smaller cloud of gas, a nebula inside our own galaxy, or whether it was a galaxy in its own right at a much greater distance. The distance and fundamental nature of the Great Andromeda Nebula was the subject of long debate, beginning with Immanuel Kant. In the mid-1700s, he hypothesized that Andromeda was an island universe, a vast sea of stars distant to our own. It was a guess, albeit a very good one. Milky Way philosophers living a few billion years from now won't have to speculate. The galactic nature of Andromeda will be clear to the naked eye. That galactic nature is also clear when we train modern telescopes on that faint smudge. The first incontrovertible evidence came when Edwin Hubble calculated its distance by watching the pulsation of stars in Andromeda. He observed Cepheid variables, which have a pulsation rate that depends on their energy output. Time the pulsation rate, and you know how luminous the star is. Those Cepheids appeared extremely faint in Edwin Hubble's observations due to the galaxy's great distance, but knowing their intrinsic luminosity allowed Hubble to calculate that distance. It was finally clear that Andromeda was, after all, an island universe far outside the Milky Way. Hubble went on to combine distance measurements to many galaxies with measurements of their velocities to discover the expansion of the universe. Those velocities were found by another astronomer, Vesto Slipher, by measuring Doppler shifts of spectral lines. Almost all of Slipher's galaxies seem to be moving away from us. Andromeda was a striking exception. It's close enough that the mutual gravitational attraction between it and the Milky Way overcomes the outward expansion, allowing them to fall together. But Doppler shift measurements only gives the line-of-sight velocity, the component of the galaxy's motion directly towards or away from us. That doesn't tell us whether Andromeda will actually hit the Milky Way. If the galaxy has enough sideways or transverse velocity, then it could miss us completely.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. The Book of Enoch. The one who was greater than Moses, greater than Abraham, because he was the only person to walk with God without dying. He was given all the master lessons and the master teachings and came back with the mathematics and everything and said, look what the gods have taught me. Sound like an alien abduction if you ask me. I don't believe in aliens.
For a long time, we had no idea about Andromeda's transverse velocity. It's actually very hard to measure. The galaxy is so far away that its motion relative to background galaxies is almost imperceptible. Even with a transverse velocity equal to its line-of-sight velocity, Andromeda's motion over several years, in terms of angle on the sky, would be minuscule, a fraction of a percent of the angular width of one of the Hubble Space Telescope's tiny pixels. So how do we measure Andromeda's transverse velocity? Well, we use the Hubble Space Telescope over several years, of course, with a heavy dose of being extremely clever. A team of researchers led by Roland van der Marel of the Space Telescope Science Institute did just this. They mapped the locations of thousands of stars in Andromeda between 2002 and 2010 and compared them to background galaxies.
The moon was here 20,000 years ago.
Which is appointed for the removal, according to which he These are the words of the blessing of Enoch, according to which he blessed the chosen and righteous who must be present on the day of distress, which is appointed for the removal of all the wicked and impious. And Enoch began his story and said, There was a righteous man whose eyes were opened by the Lord, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens, which the angels showed to me. And I heard everything from them, and I understood what I saw, but not for this generation, but for a distant generation that will come. Concerning the chosen I spoke, and I uttered a parable concerning them. The holy and great one will come out of his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread from there upon Mount Sinai, and he will appear with his host, and will appear in the strength of his power from heaven. And all will be afraid, and the watchers will shake, and fear and great trembling will seize them up to the ends of the earth.
The
And the high
Watchers?
mountains
Who
will
are the
be shaken,
Watchers?
and the high hills will be laid low and will melt like wax in a flame. And the earth will sink, and everything that is on earth will be destroyed, and there will be judgment upon all, and upon all the righteous. But for the righteous he will make peace, and he will keep safe the chosen, and mercy will be upon them. They will all belong to God, and will prosper and be blessed, and the light of God will shine on them. And behold, he comes with 10,000 holy ones to execute judgment upon them, and to destroy the impious, and to contend with all flesh concerning everything that the sinners and the impious have done and wrought against him.
When they say pious, they're talking about morality.
Contemplate all the events in the sky, how the lights in the sky do not change their courses, how each rises and sets in order, each at its proper time, and they do not transgress their law. Consider the earth, and understand from the work that is done upon it, from the beginning to the end, that no work of God changes as it becomes manifest. Consider the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is full of water, and the clouds and dew and rain rest upon it. Contemplate and see how all the trees appear withered, and all their leaves are stripped, with the exception of the 14 trees, which are not stripped, which remain with the old leaves until the new come after 2 or 3 years. And again contemplate the days of summer, how at its beginning the sun is above it. You seek shelter and shade because of the heat of the sun, and the earth burns with scorching heat, and you cannot tread upon the earth or upon a rock because of its heat. Contemplate how the trees are covered with green leaves and bear fruit, and understand in respect of everything, and perceive how he who lives forever made all these things for you, and how his works are before him in each succeeding year, and all his works serve him and do not change. But as God has decreed, so everything is done. And consider how the seas and rivers together complete their task. But you have not persevered in, nor observed the law of the Lord. But you have transgressed, and have spoken proud and hard words with your unclean mouth against his majesty. You hard of heart, you will not have peace. And because of this you will curse your days, and the years of your life you will destroy. And the eternal curse will increase, and you will not. The chosen there will be light, joy, and peace, and they will inherit the earth. But for you, the impious, there will be a curse. When wisdom is given to the chosen, they will all live, and will not again do wrong, either through forgetfulness or through pride. But those who possess wisdom will be humble. They will not again do wrong, and they will not be judged in all the days of their life, and they will not die of wrath or anger, but they will complete the number of days of their life, and their life will grow in peace, and the years of their joy will increase in gladness and eternal peace, all the days of their life. And it came to pass, when the sons of men had increased, that in those days there were born to them fair and beautiful daughters, and the angels, the sons of heaven, saw them and desired them. And they said to one another, Come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the children of men, and let us beget for ourselves children. And Shemyaza, who was their leader, said to them, I fear that you may not wish this deed to be done, and that I alone will pay for this great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and bind one another with curses, so not to alter this plan, but to carry out this plan effectively. Then they all swore together, and all bound one another with curses to it. And they were in all 200, and they came down on Artis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called the mountain Hermon, because on it they swore and bound one another with curses. And these are the names of their leaders: Shemyaza, who was their leader, Urakiba, Ramiel, Kokabiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Barakiel, Asael, Armaros, Badariel, Ananel, Zachiel, Samsiel, Sadariel, Turiel, Yomiel, and Sariel. These are the leaders of the 200 angels,
and all of them,
the others with them.
All of their names end in L, and they were the Elohim. Elohim, Samuel, Ezekiel, Bezalel.
And they took wives for themselves, and everyone chose for himself one each. And they began to go into them and were promiscuous with them. And they taught them charms and spells, and they showed them the cutting of roots and trees.
So, these motherfuckers came from heaven to fuck some just regular humans? Like, yo, we gotta make an oath, yo. And put a curse on everybody. We all gotta curse each other. So if anybody break the curse, I mean, if anybody break the oath, you already know you curse. So we gonna go fuck these bitches, right? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. I'm down, bro. Let's go down there and get some human pussy. You swear on this curse? A curse? I don't know about that, homie. You gotta curse me? I just want some nookie. The Bible is so weird.
And they became pregnant and bore large giants, and their height was 3,000 cubits.
The great ones, the man of old, the man of renown, the giants. Really? So angel sperm and human ovaries make giants.
These devoured all the toil of men until men were unable to sustain them, and the giants turned against them in order to devour men. And they began to sin against birds and against animals and against reptiles and against fish, and they devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood from it. Then the earth complained about the lawless ones. And Azazel taught men to make swords and daggers and shields and breastplates. And
So Azazel taught men how to make all this stuff, but how do you get the metal to make the swords and arrows and breastplate? You got to get the metal. You got to know where to dig for it. You got to know how to smelt and heat the metal so you can shape it into what you're trying to use. So who taught him all that? He taught him all that too. Like how you jump from going through the whole smelting process to getting the fucking raw materials straight to just. Oh, he taught him how to make armor and weaponry. Yeah, there a lot of stuff come before that, man. I'm just asking questions.
The thinking about them, and to sin against birds and against animals and against reptiles and against fish, and they devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood from it. Then the earth complained about the lawless ones. And Azazel taught men to make swords and daggers and shields and breastplates, and he showed them the things after these, and the art of making them, bracelets and ornaments, and the art of making up the eyes, and of beautifying the eyelids, and the most precious stones, and all kinds of colored dyes. And the world was changed. And there was great impiety and much fornication, and they went astray, and all their ways became corrupt. Amazarach taught all those who cast spells and cut roots, Armoros the release of spells, and Barachiel astrologers, and Kokabiel portents, and Tamiel taught astrology, and Asaradel taught the path of the moon. And at the destruction of men they cried out, and their voices reached heaven.
You haven't seen the sun in like forever, so you search for a beach vacation. Sunny beaches, sandy beach.
And then Michael, Gabriel, Suriel, and Uriel looked down from heaven and saw the mass of blood that was being shed on the earth, and all the iniquity that was being done on the earth. And they said to one another, let the devastated earth cry out with the sound of their cries up to the gate of heaven. And now to you, O holy ones of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, bring our complaint before the Most High. And they said to their Lord, the King, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, your glorious throne endures for all the generations of the world, and blessed and praised. You have made everything, and power over everything is yours, and everything is uncovered and open in front of you, and you see everything, and there is nothing that can be hidden from you. See then that what Azazel has done, how he has taught all iniquity on the earth, and revealed the eternal...
Well, if you just said that this man is all powerful, everything before him he can see, because he's then why you come snitching? Why you gotta come snitch to God and be like, oh God, look what they doing, look what they doing. He already know what they doing. Why you? Am I over exaggerating?
All the massive blood that was being shed on the earth, and all the iniquity that was being done on the earth. And they said to one another, let the devastated earth cry out with the sound of their cries up to the gate of heaven. And now to you, O holy ones of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, bring our complaint before the Most High. And they said to their Lord, the King, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, your glorious throne endures for all the generations of the world, and blessed and praised. You have made everything, and power over everything is yours, and everything is uncovered and open in front of you, and you see everything, and there is nothing that can be hidden from you. See then that what Azazel has done, how he has taught all iniquity on the earth, and revealed the eternal secrets that are made in heaven. And Simyaza made known spells, he to whom you gave authority to rule over those who are with him. And they went into the daughters of men together, lay with those women, became unclean, and revealed to them these sins. And the women bore giants, and thereby the whole earth has been filled with blood and iniquity. And now behold, the souls which have died cry out and complain unto the gate of heaven, and their lament has ascended, and they cannot go out into the face of the iniquity which is being committed on the earth. And you know everything before it happens, and you know this, and what concerns each of them, but you say nothing to us. What ought we to do with them about this? And then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke and sent Arshe-Laur, the son of Lamech, and said to him, say to him in my name, hide yourself, and reveal to him the end which is coming, because the whole earth will be destroyed. A deluge is about to come on all the earth, and all that is in it will be destroyed. And now teach him so that he may escape, and his offspring may survive for the whole earth. And further the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel by his hands and his feet, and throw him into the darkness, and split open the desert which is in Dudaio, and throw him in there. And throw on him jagged and sharp stones, and cover him with darkness, and let him stay there forever, and cover his face so that he may not see the light, and so that on the great day of judgment he may be hurled into the fire. And restore the earth which the angels have ruined, and announce the restoration of the earth. For I shall restore the earth, so that not all the sons of men shall be destroyed because of the knowledge which the watchers made known and taught to their sons. And the whole earth has been ruined by the teaching of the works of Azazel, and against him write all sin. And the Lord said to Gabriel, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the sons of the fornicators, and destroy the sons of the fornicators, and the sons of the watchers from amongst men, and send them out, send them against one another, and let them destroy themselves in battle, for they will not have length of days. And they will petition you, but the petitioners will gain nothing in respect of them, for they hope for eternal life, and that each of them will live life for 500 years. And the Lord said to Michael, go, informed Semyaza and the others with him, who have associated with the women to corrupt themselves with them in all their uncleanness. When all their sons kill each other, and when they see the destruction of their loved ones, bind them.
All right. So you say you God, and now you got to bring forth a deluge to destroy what the Watchers have done to your little human science project. But didn't you know that was going to happen when you made the Watchers? Because you're God. You made everything. You made all of us. And so you made all of us just to put us in conflict, knowing that the Watchers are going to come down and fuck the women. And, you know, because the women are unclean, you keep saying over and over, you know, you've made yourself unclean. And now I got to flood everything out and start back over. But you should have known that. Why don't you know that was going to happen? Well, God work in mysterious ways. No, the motherfucker work ass backwards is what he does. He just testing shit out, like trying shit out. He ain't got that whole hang of this I'm the almighty creator shit yet. You know, he's still learning. God be fucking up. I'm just saying, in my opinion.
70 generations under the hills of the earth, until the day of their judgment and of their consummation, until the judgment, which is for all eternity, is accomplished. And in those days they will lead them to the abyss of fire, in torment, and in prison they will be shut up for all eternity. And then Semyaza will be burnt, and from then on destroyed with them. Together they will be bound until the end of all generations, and destroy all the souls of lust and the sons of the Watchers, for they have wronged men. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and every evil work will cease. And now all the righteous will be humble, and will live until they beget thousands. And all the days of their youth and their Sabbaths they will fulfill in peace. And in those days the whole earth will be tilled in righteousness, and all of it will be planted with trees, and it will be filled with blessing. And all the pleasant trees they will plant on it, and they will plant on it vines. And the vine that is planted on it will produce fruit in abundance. And every seed that is sown on it, each measure will produce 1,000. And each measure of olives will produce 10 baths of oil. And you cleanse the earth from all wrong, and from all iniquity, and from all sin, and from all impiety, and from all the uncleanness which is brought about on the earth. And all the sons of men shall be righteous, and all the nations shall serve and bless me, and all shall worship me. And the earth will be cleansed from all corruption, and from all sin, and from all wrath, and from all torment. And I will not again send a flood upon it for all generations forever. And in those days I will open the storehouses of blessing which are in heaven, so that I may send them down upon the earth, upon the work and upon the toil of the sons of men. Peace and truth will be united for all the days of eternity, and for all the generations of eternity. And then Enoch disappeared, and none of the sons of men knew where he was hidden, where he was, or what had happened. And all his doings were with the holy ones, and with the Watchers in his days. And I, Enoch, was blessing the great Lord and the King of eternity. And behold, the Watchers called to me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, scribe of righteousness, go and inform the Watchers of heaven, who have left the high heaven and the holy eternal place, and have corrupted themselves with women, and have done as the sons of men do, and have taken wives for themselves, and have become completely corrupt on the earth. They will have on earth neither peace nor forgiveness of sin, for they will not rejoice in their sons. The slaughter of their beloved ones they will see, and over the destruction of their sons they will lament and petition forever. But they will have neither mercy nor peace. And Enoch went and said to Azazel, "You will not have peace. A severe sentence has come out against you that you should be bound. And you will have neither rest nor mercy, nor the granting of any petitions, because of the wrong which you have taught, and because of all the works of blasphemy and wrong and sin which you have shown to the sons of men." And then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Fear and trembling seized them. And they asked me to write out for them the record of a petition, so that they might receive forgiveness, and to take a record of the petition up to the Lord in heaven. For they were not able from then on to speak, and they did not raise their eyes to heaven, out of shame for their sins, for which they had been condemned. And then I wrote out the record of their petition, and their supplication in regard to their spirits and the deeds of each one of them, and in regard to what they ask, that they should obtain absolution and forbearance. And I went and sat down by the waters of Dan, in Dan, which is southwest of Hermon, and I read out the record of their petition until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell upon me, and I saw a vision of wrath, that I should speak to the sons of heaven and reprove them. And I woke up and went to them, and they were all sitting gathered together as they mourned, in Ubozael, which is between Lebanon and Senir, with their faces covered. And I spoke in front of them all the visions that I had seen in my sleep, and I began to speak these words to reprove the watchers of heaven. This book is the word of righteousness and of reproof for the watchers who are from eternity, as the Holy and Great One commanded in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now tell, with the tongue of flesh and with my breath.
But didn't God already talk to him and tell him to go tell them something? But he couldn't tell him nothing until he had a. He couldn't tell him the second part until he had a dream about it. This gets confusing. So God talking to you in person, he talking to you in your dreams.
Which the Great One has given men in the mouth, so that they might speak with it, and understand with the heart. As he has created and appointed men to understand the word of knowledge, so he created and appointed me to reprove the watchers, the sons of heaven. And I wrote out your petition, but in my vision thus it appeared, that your petition would not be granted to you for all the days of eternity. And complete judgment has been decreed against you, and you will not have peace. And from now on you will not ascend into heaven for all eternity. And it has been decreed that you will be bound on earth for all the days of eternity. And before this you will have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you will not be able to enjoy them, but they will fall before you by the sword. And your petition will not be granted in respect of them, or in respect of yourselves. And while you weep and supplicate, you do not speak a single word from the writings which I have written. And the vision appeared to me as follows. Behold, clouds called me in the vision, and mists called me. And the path of the stars and flashes of lightning hastened me and drove me. And in the vision winds caused me to fly, and hastened me, and lifted me up into the sky. And I proceeded until I came near a wall which was made of hailstones, and a tongue of fire surrounded it. And it began to make me afraid. And I went into the tongue of fire, and came near to a large house, which was built of hailstones, and the wall of that house was like a mosaic of hailstones, and its floor was snow. Its roof was like the path of the stars and flashes of lightning, and among them was fiery cherubim, and their sky was like water. And there was a fire burning around its wall, and its door was ablaze with fire. And I went into that house, and it was as hot as fire and as cold as snow, and there was neither pleasure nor life in it. Fear covered me, and trembling took hold of me. And as I was shaking and trembling, I fell on my face. And I saw in the vision, and behold, another house which was larger than the former, and all its doors were open before me, and it was built of a tongue of fire. and in everything it so excelled in glory and splendor and size, so that I am unable to describe to you its glory and its size. And its floor was fire, and above lightning and the path of the stars, and its roof also was a burning fire. And I looked, and I saw in it a high throne, and its appearance was like ice, and its surrounds like the shining sun and the sound of cherubim. And from underneath the high throne there flowed out rivers of fire, so that it was impossible to look at it. And he who is great in glory sat upon it, and his raiment was brighter than the sun, and whiter than any snow. And no angel could enter. And at the appearance of the face of him who is honored and praised, no creature of flesh could look. A sea of fire burnt around him, and a great fire stood in front of him, and none of those around him came near to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, but he needed no holy counsel.
I've got peace like a river.
And the holy ones who were near to him did not leave by night or day, and did not depart from him. And until then I had a covering on my face.
What up, Big Smoke?
And the Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, Come here, Enoch, to my holy word. And he lifted me apart from him, and until stood before him, but he needed no holy counsel. And the holy ones who were near to him did not leave by night or day, and did not depart from him. And until then I had a covering on my face, as I trembled. And the Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, Come here, Enoch, to my holy...
And the Lord called me with his own mouth. Come here, Enoch. Why he ain't tell you that when you gave the message to the damn Elohim? Man, God be confusing me. Why you gotta talk to me so many different ways? You trying to holler at me in person, man? You trying to give me visions? Why don't you just come text me or something? Damn, that thing was sharp. Boy, I tell you what. If I ain't good, I don't know what you call it. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's the only thing I am good at. No. None of that. You ain't gonna have none of that funny business dropping canvases and whatnot. Oh, really? You gonna do me like that? Alright. Phew. That was a close call. Alright, guys, I made that hour. Finish this bad boy up. Now I gotta go cook some dinner so I can take my ass to bed for work in the morning. I swear, the light in here is just the worst. We're gonna call that done. Thank you. I would like to thank myself for being so talented and patient with my craft. I would also like to thank myself for being a hell of a colorist and being so persistent with my passions. I'd like to thank my parents for making me look this handsome. Y'all got some good genes. Want to give a shout out to my art teacher.
She flunked me in 10th grade. Alright guys, really appreciate y'all sticking around to witness the signing party for this commission work that I've been working on for the last 3 weeks. It is finally done. I'm actually going to take a picture of it here shortly and send it to the client and let him know that it's done, and see if he sees anything he wants me to change or correct or add or subtract, or you know. But I'll be back in here tomorrow. Peace.